Internet, hello and welcome to this month's Watch Along. This month we are doing Batman Forever after our very fun Batman, the Batman sequel, Batman Returns at Christmas. That was a great time. As always, the Watchalongs are brought to you by patron Michael McCarstle, who loves the Christmas movie that is Batman Forever as much as I do. And we were like, it's approaching summer. It's almost superhero season. Let's do another superhero movie. And after really enjoying the glory that is Batman Returns, we thought we'd switch it over to a weird, fun one and do Batman Forever. That is the Val Kilmer Batman movie for those playing along at home. I personally will be watching it via Blu-ray. It is on HBO Max, so if you want to get that queued up, now is the time. I'm going to get my Blu-ray queued up. I'll be watching this with headphones so as to not have it taken down by Warner Brothers for our full watch-along experience. I will be in the chat right here. Spidey Cat will be taking a bath right here, so I'll be paying attention to both of those very important things. Right, Spidey? Yeah, it's a very important bath. All right, it is getting loaded up. I am getting a piracy warning, which is why I'm wearing headphones. That is exactly what's going on, Warner Brothers. I am listening. I'm aware. It is getting queued. I'm excited to dive into this one. I've got a lot of Schumacher thoughts, so we'll talk about that as we go along. I now have the Warner Brothers logo. I'll let you know when to press play. All apologies for the slow load time. Michael McCarstle in the chat, man behind this very watch-along, saying this movie doesn't get enough love. Kilmer is a solid Batman. I completely agree. I think this movie is actually going to be loved in a new way after some time passes. I think it's going to be one of those that finds an audience after a time, but it has not yet. I was very hopeful it would by now, but here we are. All right, right now I am at 0.00001, so we're at 1/10 of 1 second, about to press play on the Blu-ray. So everyone watching later, 3, 2, 1, Batman Forever. Let's do this thing. I got the mid-era Warner Brothers logo, not the old school one, not the new one, but the mid-era Warner Brothers as it morphs into the Batman Forever Bat, which is, just cool. We've got Tim Burton producing. He did want to go on and make a third Batman movie, which would have featured Harvey Dent, but it would have been his Harvey Dent, the great... Yes, Spidey Cat? Billy D. Williams was supposed to become Harvey Dent in the third film, but instead we got a new Harvey Dent in Tommy Lee Jones in this third film. Joel Schumacher, speaking of Tommy Lee Jones, is arguably one of my favorite directors of all time, and it's really unfortunate a lot of people think of him as just the Batman movies. He's done Phone Booth, Tigerland, Lost Boys, he's done drama, he's done comedy, Flatliners. He's got an incredible body of work. These were just his biggest commercial movies, I think, so people associate the Batman sequels and their fall from appearing grace with him, and I disagree with it. I think these movies definitely have their own merit. The fourth one is a little harder to appreciate, but I think this third one is a great time. Kicking it off with the montage of the new Batsuit. Look at that. Look at that. Went back to the more clean line work on the yellow and black. Instead of the multi-butt, it's the solid butt. Michael Gough as Alfred in all the films with different Batmans always makes me think this is the beginning of the shared universe that's coming with Michael Keaton. I think Michael Keaton coming back to Flashpoint might address the Michael Gough Alfred for 4 different Batmans. I'm wondering if this is like a multiverse situation with multiple Harveys, multiple Batman. Look at that Kilmer. Look at that cowl face. It's already much more commercial, obviously. This does tie directly into the McDonald's era it was supposed to. Val Kilmer was not the first choice of Schumacher. Schumacher wanted one of the Baldwins, Stephen Baldwin, I believe. But the voice of Val Kilmer in a past animated series gave him the little bit of clout. Warner Brothers was like, Val Kilmer. I love Schumacher's Gotham. It's especially insane in Batman and Robin, but I really dig Schumacher's Gotham. The score is so good. Kicking it off in a hurry. This movie just goes. You just see the different movie that Tommy Lee Jones plays in and Jim Carrey in a different movie altogether. I still have 2 of those McDonald's cups, Mr. Michael McCarstle. I have the Riddler one for sure, and the Batman one with the chunky handle. I love the suit peeking out before the reveal, just how ridiculous this outfit is, but how into it Tommy Lee Jones is. Look at that glory. Because it's like the Adam West insanity plus the 90s cartoon plus a little bit of Tim Burton seriousness. There's just so many tones in this film. What up, Sco? Gotham is 90s fever dream and I'm here for it. Exactly right. Batman one. Dude, the big chunky handle. I wonder how much fun Tommy Lee Jones is capable of having, because he just seems to live with a scowl. And one of the most iconic behind-the-scenes lines in cinema history is that he will not sanction Jim Carrey's buffoonery. And I just don't feel like a man that is happy often says something like that. Man, Nicole Kidman. The writing, not necessarily great. Hot entrance. Val Kilmer, great Batman. Chin, voice, vibe. Just going for it. Man, such a fan of Val Kilmer. At the beginning, they're diving into the psychology of these villains and stuff. That doesn't give the credit it deserves, even with the rough writing. She is. She's playing up the va-va-voom voice, and like Batman's playing up the gravel. There's a lot of big acting happening. Because how do you follow up Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman? You gotta go big. You gotta go with Nicole Kidman. It now says Bob Kane and Bill Finger, but this credit had just Bob Kane. As we've learned in the decades since, Bill Finger did quite a bit for making Batman Batman. Akiva Goldsman, who has gone on to do many other crazy things, 3 screenplay writers, and hot entrance made the cut. I bet Tim Burton made a pretty penny off of producing this one. Because even though it's a commercial bit of madness, it's definitely successful. It's also unlike anything else Joel Schumacher has done. Like, all these crazy Dutch angles, all of these shots are not Schumacher-y. Even the choice to, like, have the faceless goons be where his director card goes just doesn't feel like him as a director, but clearly he went on to do another one. We lost Joel Schumacher last year. Great director. Sometimes is a cartoon. That's almost the Michael Keaton suit. It's really close, and obviously they're mirroring it like that so it can evolve, and like it's supposed to be one universe, but that is going to be interesting in the multiverse stuff with Keaton. I think it will come to play. I remember this guy. I haven't seen this one in so long, but I remember this guy. A studio signed off on those sound effects and the score being that big simultaneously. Oh. Live bait to trap a bat. That guy. Michael saying, yeah, it was very commercial. Many of my Bat-related toys as a kid were from this and Batman and Robin. It hit the zeitgeist perfect. It was right as the animated series was really, really crushing it. It is a very toy-friendly franchise. I prefer Nolan's universe, but it is a blast. And expensive. The movie looks big. You've got to get the right kind of character actor to yell, "Oh no, it's boiling acid!" How do you even audition for a role like that? How do you do that in the room? Hearing aids make that pop sound, right? I maintain, as does Michael McCarstle, that Val Kilmer is a great Batman. Billy D. Williams was, of course, tied to this franchise, so Warner Brothers actually had to buy him out and pay him for not using him in the Two-Face role because he was contractually obligated to it. I don't know why they didn't. Like, I love Tommy Lee Jones, but man, Billy D. Williams would have been great to finally see after 2 movies. Also, I'm not sure that's how physics works, but here we are. Tim Burton was still slated to direct the film, Mickey Dolenz was considered to play the Riddler. After Burton dropped out, Williams was offered the role by Warner Brothers, but refused due to being bitter about being used as bait to lure Jack Nicholson to play the Joker in Batman, and that has been a long-running thing. Warner Brothers has often done some stuff like that with their characters, and it bites them in the butt. This Gotham is gorgeous. Look at that giant demon statue. Like, the style of architecture in the Batman movies needs to be this, to me, to feel like the comic books. I like Nolan's realism, but this Gotham is its own character, which is fantastic. Tommy Lee Jones was Schumacher's first choice for the role of Two-Face after working with him in The Client. Jones accepted the role because his son Austin, who was 11, said Two-Face was his favorite character, which explains the boldness of the acting compared to his usual work. Originally, Schumacher wanted to make a more serious film that would fully explore Bruce Wayne's growing fear that his crusade to be Batman had done more harm than good, and Bruce was beginning to suffer from burnout, but Warner Brothers wanted to make a more cartoonish flavor. And that is obviously what they ended up doing with the third Batman film in the Nolan franchise, which is interesting how sometimes those things come back around. Even a decade later in an entirely new franchise, those are the ideas they explore in the third Batman of the next series. Sometimes a Statue of Liberty type thing is in Gotham for some reason, because the imagery is strong. Here we are. Oh, wow, Sco, I didn't even realize that. It's crazy that Kilmer was in Batman and Heat in the same year. Kilmer's career is next level, man. I'm such a big Kilmer fan. I did not put that together, Sco. That's great. Look how cool Gotham is. Not Harvey Dent, not Two-Face. Harvey Two-Face. Electronics, cutting edge at the time. The idea of electronics to this scale. Bruce Wayne, profit sharing. What a gentleman. Our first appearance of Val Kilmer as Bruce. Originally, Jim Carrey wanted to carve a question mark into his hair, but he was getting divorced at the time, so that did not seem appropriate for courtroom antics in real life, so he did not, but that was the original idea. Also, apparently Kilmer and Carrey became good friends. Both their fathers passed recently, and they bonded on set quite a bit and stayed friends. He is so much fun in this role. Michael Keaton turned down the script because he didn't like the lighter tone. Val Kilmer, on the other hand, took the role without ever reading the script, and he took the role while in a cave. He was doing bat research and was in a bat cave when he got the offer. So Batman was born in a bat cave. And Syed, man, this was on repeat when I was 4. I watched this a ton when I was like 7 or so, I think. I think it was around there. Michael McCarstle, it's so hard to believe that this movie features one of the only live-action Robins. I desperately want to see him in a movie again. Yeah, the fact that we've had so few Robins is crazy. Lewis Cox likes Batman Forever. And Hold My Brick, hola, watching a movie with the girlfriend, just stopping by for a sec to tell you great people to have a great night. You have a great night as well, and have a great night with the girlfriend. Enjoy your movie, man. Thank you for stopping by. It's got a point. At one point, Tim Burton was going to direct, and he was going to have Brad Dourif, who is terrifying and awesome in the voice of Chucky and in Lord of the Rings, as Scarecrow. And Tim Burton said, I always hated those titles like Batman Forever. That sounds like a tattoo that someone would get when they're on drugs or something some kid would write in the yearbook to someone else. I have high problems with some of those titles. He was apparently considering the title Batman Continues. I don't love that title much myself. I guess Batman Returns, Batman Continues. I guess. This was always so cool. I love this shot so much. Michael Go's first appearance or second appearance, but also like the tech of this starting to come to play. Like, this is so rad. Originally, Mel Gibson was offered the part of Batman and had to turn it down for Lethal Weapon 2, and then he was offered the part of Two-Face in this and had to turn it down for Braveheart. So Lethal Weapon 2 and Braveheart kept Mel Gibson out of the Batverse, but he was attached twice. Ooh, that outfit in the bat signal. What are you doing? That line was everywhere the year this came out. Yeah, I don't feel like these movies ruin Batman, but it's definitely a different flavor. These lines, man. How do you do them? Another reference to the last Batman movie, so it is in the same universe-ish. They don't reference Batman and Batman Returns often, but moments like that, like it is shared, and Michael Gough and Commissioner Gordon. Gotham is so cool. Yeah, I like Val Kilmer's Batman. A lot of people don't, but I'm a fan. He nails the octave drop in the voice without it being cartoonish, to me. The sound effects. Schumacher originally wanted Nicole Kidman to play Poison Ivy, but decided that Ivy, Two-Face, and Riddler would be too many villains, and then they saved her as Uma Thurman for the next. But she would have been incredible. Nicole Kidman as Poison Ivy would have been amazing. Not that Uma wasn't, but man. Not sure resolution's the right term there, Edward Nigma, but sure. Electronics. I was 7 this come out, it was 95. Originally it would have been Batman Continues in 94, but they pushed it a year. Yeah, I want to like walk around this Gotham, Michael. I totally agree. Val Batman is cool. I know. Like he as Batman. Sorry. Yeah, I think he's awesome. Nothing to apologize for, Lewis. You're right. He's a good Batman. I agree. What's tricky is I like his Riddler, but it's so different than the comic book Riddler. It's kept us from having a Riddler, much like the Robin thing for quite some time. I've missed having a serious Riddler because of this take on the Riddler. I'm really excited for Paul Dano and Matt Reeves to give us a different take on the Riddler, more like the comics. .3D TV, cutting edge. Joel Schumacher's actually a big Batman fan, and before Warner Brothers got their notes in, he wanted to do Batman Year One, which Darren Aronofsky also wanted to do, but we didn't really get until Batman Begins. Look at that city. I think it was worth this Riddler for a while, but not as long as we've been without him. But this Riddler's a blast. Maroni, also very curious to see how he's handled in the new Batman. I'm so excited for that movie. The only Jim Carrey blockbuster, one of the only Jim Carrey blockbusters where he wasn't the lead in the supporting role, which is an interesting look at his 90s career. Good work, Commissioner Gordon. Comic Quirks with Jimmy says, I just got out of Mark Waid's Talent Talk, and damn, is that guy just a genius when it comes to comics. I've been lucky enough to talk to Mark Waid a couple times and interview him actually for another Comic-Con, and he is delightful. The man knows comics. Marvel, DC, Indies. He's doing great stuff with Mobius over at his new company now. I'm a big Mark Waid fan, I agree. Comic Quirks also said, what's good, my guy? I'm feeling a lot better than last week. The powers of high and Sudafed. Good. Feel better. I'm glad you're feeling better, man. Keep healing up. I'm honestly glad the Aronofsky movie didn't happen. Everything I've ever seen, heard about it, sounds like it basically would have been Batman, wouldn't have been Batman after all the changes he made. Yeah, I agree. Like, I like Aronofsky, but, like, it wasn't a Batman movie. And I think it might have thrown us off from getting Batman Begins, which is a great Batman movie, because it would have been too recent. I think it would have cost us Nolan. It was not worth that. So, as curious as I am as an Elseworld, I'm kind of glad it worked out that way as well. Lewis says the Riddler is fun. I like Jim Carrey. Also would have loved to see Robin Williams as the Riddler. Yeah, Robin Williams, Riddler, Billy D, Two-Face, and Brad Dourif, Scarecrow would have been awesome in Batman Continues. What a cartoon set for his lair. Like, no one like living that way. It's fascinating how much leeway this gets. Comic Quirk says, I wanted to see that weird Justice League movie that was never made in the early 2000s. I would have loved to have seen George Miller's Justice League badly, but that will never come to pass, but especially after Mad Max Fury Road. I think it would have been cool to have Robin Williams as funny, but also the dark side of him, like 1 Hour Photo meets, you know, what people know him for. He's such a good dramatic actor and comedic. So is Jim Carrey, but like Jim Carrey's playing the comedy here in that era in his career. Which, to be honest, I loved the new Sonic movie because of Jim Carrey being 90s Jim Carrey again. So I get the choices they made, but always curious. It is a great, great Bruce Wayne vehicle and shot. All good choices. A rare hero in a turtleneck. Usually that is a villainous wardrobe option. But it makes sense for Batman. .6'4" mighty Nicole Kidman. I don't know if she's actually 6'4". Very tall Amazonian badass Nicole Kidman. Boxing. Great door. Yeah, Comic Works. It is a bummer. George Miller would have been magic. Might have had a cannibal as Batman, but originally they wanted Rene Russo as the female lead in this when it was Michael Keaton, but Hollywood, especially them, was a bit more ageist and thought she was too old for Val Kilmer, so they got a younger Nicole Kidman, but I like both of them. It's weird that Rene Russo is considered older. That's a problem. That is Spidey Cat. He is gangsta. Thank you. I wish I could get away with turtleneck, strange. I'm not rich enough for this haircut or suit, but I support it. I love the writing's not great between the two of them often, but I love the psychoanalyzing. It's not subtle, but I like the psychoanalyzing she's doing here. Yeah, that's a line, I suppose. I love Cirque, but I don't like circus animals, so I like the human circus. But this set and obviously the Gothamness of it all is awesome. Yeah, I like this Batman suite as well. Lewis. My mom's in here. Hello, Mom. And Comic Quirks Jimmy says, I procrastinated enough off to write an essay. Yeah, I feel you. I love that they went with the like third Robin costume. It like wasn't the classic. It was the Tim Drake costume. Like that is directly just the Tim Drake suit. They just went for it. And that's you can do stuff like that when you're in this environment. Like I like that. That's just full on the costume from the comics. So cool. Michael, I agree. I mean, yeah, by this point, the classic Robin suit just wouldn't have worked in live action. Yeah, and even now, like, the more modern suit types, but I really think the spandex make works here for this scene. I agree. These giant practical sets must have been so cool to work with. Good old Batman, henchman goons. Lewis says, I love the Batmobile from this. Not that I don't love Batman 89 Returns, I do, but this one was cool. Yeah, I love this Batmobile. And I love how practical all this is. Like, there's an actual Olympian gymnast doing the stunts for Chris O'Donnell. It's crazy that people really do. Like, that one hand could end a life. The adrenaline. Famously, Damon Wayans. No, not Damon Wayans. Hold on, which Wayans? Marlon Wayans? Yeah, Marlon Wayans was supposed to be Robin in the first two Batmans, and then they recast him as well for Batman 3. Would have been a very different Robin, but it would have been really cool to see. He also got paid to not be Robin because he had to get bought out too, so worked out. So on set, Kilmer and Schumacher clashed, and Carey and Tommy Lee Jones clashed. It was quite the cantankerous set, but Schumacher would go on to direct number 23 with Carey, so clearly they fixed their stuff up. Look at that suit. Look at that amazing Two-Face suit. One of the first films to do digital color grading was this one. 25 minutes were recolor graded in 2K, and you can see some of the scenes because it's really, really tech, but one of the first ones to do digital color grading like that. Mark Wahlberg, Leo, Matt Damon, Jude Law, Ewan McGregor, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, and Scott Speedman, all considered for Robin. Some of the biggest names of the 90s and 2000s considered for Robin. Because these Bat movies are big business. But yeah, it is really crazy. Chris O'Donnell's like one of her only on-screen Robins. Michael McCarstle says, yep, and all the toy molds were already made by the time the recasting happened, so the Robin figures are very clearly Marlon Wayans. That's so funny. Oh, that's so sad. Yeah, so just repainted Marlon Wayans, and I would love to have seen his Robin. That'd be great. Does anyone have a time code for Star Drew? I don't want to press anything and accidentally mess everything up, but someone help Star Drew out. I don't know what the time code we're at. Lewis, that is a lot of names. Back in this era, you'd be getting everyone that has credits and more. I mean, hundreds of people read for these big parts sometimes if it's not a direct offer. Even if it is direct offer, sometimes they have people read for them to drop some budgets. Oof. But can you imagine Marky Mark Robin? Oh, it's so sad. Graphic in its own cutaway way. But immediately making Robin a hero is fantastic. $39.50, gang. Right around $39.50. The bomb just exploded in the harbor. His first ward. Metropolis reference. The closest at the time we'd gotten to like kind of a crossover big shared universe is Metropolis reference. Also the Robin on his helmet. Chris O'Donnell was like the coolest in the 90s. I mean, yeah, 90s. That was like this whole Robin obsession. He's subtle. That burger looks dope, though. I might have stayed. Also, I might have stayed. Joel Schumacher said in an interview about Val Kilmer, Val did me 2 great favors when I wanted him to be Batman. He said yes, then he created a situation which allowed me to not have him play Batman again. They were both happy instances for which I am always grateful. Boy, oh boy, was it a rough relationship between the two of them. Fascinated by what a Mel Gibson Two-Face would have been with his, I mean, his public persona now is a mess, but that animosity coming out of Mel Gibson then would have been a fascinating thing with him at that point in his career. Or the jokiness, like the playfulness, I don't know how that would have been played. Schumacher's decision to put nipples and enlarged cod pieces on the Bat costumes, as well as the earring on Robin, caused controversy. It even bothered Batman co-creator Bob Kane. Schumacher said he wanted the costumes to have an animatronic look, while the earring was supposed to make Robin more hip. He also claimed that the basis for the Batman and Robin suits came from statues of the gods of ancient Greece, which a lot of the anatomy of the Gotham, like that giant practical Greek god statues, is in that flavor. Bob Kane passed before Christian Bale played Batman, but he said that Val Kilmer was the best portrayal, in his opinion, of Batman. AJ, can't catch the live, but wanted to come in and drop a like with a kiss from the rose, baby. Cheers, though. Kiss from the Rose of the Dead is one of the best songs in movie score soundtrack history. It is perfect. And iconic as fuck. Just imagine a little Leo and Marky Mike right there. Oh, it wasn't Stephen Baldwin, it was Billy Baldwin. Billy Baldwin is who was considered for Batman before Val Kilmer. Along with Daniel Day-Lewis, Kurt Russell, Alec Baldwin, Ethan Hawke, Ralph Fiennes, Tom Hanks, and Johnny Depp. Because again, back in this era, if you got credits, everyone wanted those like big flagship, because these were money roles. It's like a $20 million job. Yeah, there's some of that color grading. The old, like this four, the two Burtons, the two Schumachers, like the Batman, the villain thugs were always such a factor in these eras, and like the comics have that too. But it's interesting how, that's less of a thing in the Bale ones comparatively. What a car! Sometimes you just gotta drive sideways immediately. Val Kilmer and Tommy Lee Jones appeared together again in The Missing back in '03, but it also featured Aaron Eckhart, who would go on to play Two-Face in the Bale movies. I love the Kevin Bacon degrees of Batman. The Gotham that especially me and Michael, keep talking about in the chat, Joel Schumacher wanted the design for Gotham City to have personality with more statues and neon lights. He cited 1940s and 50s Batman comics, 30s New York, and modern Tokyo. And I definitely see all of those things in this. The neon, the Tokyo, the classic New York. Physics, imaginary physics. Seal could have won Album of the Year over Waterfall from TLC. Both are great. TLC's Waterfalls is fantastic, but Seal is so classic. I'm with you. Why was he moving the steering wheel while parked? These are the big questions. These are the big questions. The Puzzler is a Superman villain. Sometimes you just have to scale a building with your car. And how would he have gotten it down? That is a good question. But the going up and into the roofs was originally supposed to be a big rooftop car chase, but they ran over time and over budget, so they moved that to the set piece to the fourth film. There's a rooftop chase in the fourth film, and obviously Batman Begins. But it was originally supposed to be that from the rooftop. So your question is fair, Michael, and it almost spun into a whole set piece. It's also crazy that you can just keep action set pieces from one movie to the next. It's fascinating. McDonald's pulled out of Batman Returns after the movie's release due to the dark subject matter and controversy surrounding the film. They told Warner Brothers they would not participate in any cross-marketing campaigns with WB on part 3 of this franchise if Tim Burton was the director again. The whole McDonald's in this all is insane. Drew Barrymore. And, what's her name? Sugar and Spice are from the comics. But what is her name? They didn't appear in the comics till later. They started here kind of like Harley Quinn, but they are in the comics. They're just like a Harley Quinn thing. They were originally named Lace and Leather, but that was deemed too risque for the films. That costume is amazing. Debbie Mazer is Spice. Debbie Mazer is driving me crazy. Can you imagine if it was Daniel Day-Lewis as Batman? That would have been crazy. Just reading about all the casting stuff is insane. A play on the "This Is Your Brain on Drugs," the fried Ed drug reference of the 90s. Oh, I never noticed that. You can see his hairspray under his mask and on the Blu-ray because the quality is so much better. You can see where his hairspray went under his mask. That's great. Everything's to the coin. I love Two-Face. I don't love the cartoony approach we've only gotten, but obviously Aaron Eckhart did a different take, but I love the character. Badass laundry. The dulled out rock music to laundering. Robin. I too would like to do my laundry like that, Michael. I too. Val Kilmer said, and I quote, "I've done an absurdly commercial cartoon, and now I'm more likely to get hired for the job I couldn't get hired for before because I hadn't done enough movies. It's so rare when an actor gets hired because he's right for the role, it just doesn't figure into it." That explains this decision in the peak of his career. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is still my favorite of his. In the French version, the Riddler is called Le Sphinx. Ooh. My phone is charging. Sorry about that. I dropped the cord. The dog is essential for the growing knowledge. And now this could happen, kinda. The addiction is real. I'm on a screen every minute. Unlike the two Burton films, this one's not Danny Elfman. Also, unlike those two, the film features original songs by multiple artists, which the first did not. The trailer for this and Batman Robin do both feature Elfman's score, though, which is interesting, legally. Steve Martin also turned down the role of the Riddler after Robin Williams, that whole chaos. Steve Martin would have been interesting, too. Oh, we talked about it earlier. Val Kilmer filmed his role concurrently with that in Heat. In this film, he plays a protagonist pursuing a team of armed robbers, and the other, he's one of a gang of armed robbers being pursued. He did this at the same time as Heat. That is fascinating. Buddy. Rick Baker originally wanted the exposed teeth of Two-Face like they are in the later films, but they did not think they could with how grotesque it would be. But Rick Baker's a genius. I love the fun cartoony choices he did with the direction of cartooniness. Yeah, we're only an hour in. It does pack a lot into its runtime. There's so much going on. I mean, that many villains, that much happening, and like a lot of that would be a third act thing, like the activating the box. But we're only halfway, y'all. Oh. One of my favorite Alfred scenes. Lewis says it would have been great to have seen Harley Quinn in live action before Suicide Squad, but I know she was created for Batman the Animated Series in the 90s, but it would have been cool. Yeah, she's brand new as a character at this point in continuity, in 95. But Juno Temple had like a bit of that Harley Quinn flavor in Batman Dark Knight Rises. But yeah, I love Margot Robbie, but I'm just really excited to get a new Robin. Which I assume we're going to get like in the third The Batman, you know? Like whatever they go with the Pattinson stuff. Schumacher was born in 1939, the same year Batman was created. I love this sequence. I love the neon. The beginning of my love for Burning Man right here. I love this Gotham so much. It reminds me of that 1999 Linkin Park music video for their first single had this flavor in those contacts and stuff. I love the blacklight spray paint. '90s strings, flourish. No way! Jim Carrey was considered for the part of David in The Lost Boys. That's insane. What a different movie that would have been. The choreography is fun. It's a little bit more, it's cartoony, but it's got more practical than movies that would follow. And, you feel like how he's earning that Robin. The original cut was 3 hours and explored much more of Batman's psyche and guilt and like that giant flying bat and the scene in the trailer where he's like arms spread. There's a lot more of this in that 3 hour cut. So we're talking about the 1 hour mark. It's a very big different film that Schumacher made. Video Drew in the chat. I do love Burning Man. I'm a bit obsessed with Burning Man. Jim Carrey learned how to twirl a cane for this film and broke like 30 of them in the process. Yes, indeedy. I was excited to get to the cane twirling. Robin Williams passed up for the role and very upset because he'd also been promised Joker before Vince Nicholson. He actually was part of the process of negotiating Nicholson's payment down, even though that's one of the highest paying things ever. And he talked in a bunch of interviews about how he was supposed to be in a Batman movie and how he was twice screwed over by Batman. And then they talked about having him in the Bale version as sort of an apology. And then we lost Robin, obviously. But yeah, Robin Williams screwed over by Batman many times and Warner Brothers. Hashtag release the Schumacher cut. That 3 hour Batman Forever, though. Video Drew, if you go to Burning Man, you let me know. And we got to meet up out there and find out where camps and stuff are. I'm not going this year because it doesn't seem safe. But next year, Burning Man, I will see you in the dust. Again, the color here. Drew Carey and Jim Carrey. There's so much 90s on screen right now. See the mole on Jim Carrey's cheek to mirror Val Kilmer's mole? The Val Kilmer hair and mole. Yes! So good. Video, we got to talk about the other offshoots, because I've been to a couple, and I've been to Africa Burn, the Burning Man in South Africa, but I do not know any local other burns, so I would love to know. Outcoiffed. It's also such a 90s cut both Jim and Val are rocking here. It's a very 90s coiffed do. This reporter... When they redesigned the Batman suit in this era, they described it as more MTV, more organic and edgier. Glasses. Dick Grayson is supposed to be, in the comics he's 15. In this, apparently he's supposed to be 18. Chris O'Donnell's full ass 25 and seems it. I've always had, even as a kid, wondered about the age choices of these castings. Reportedly, Matt Damon auditioned for the role of Robin, as did Ben Affleck for this Robin. Later, obviously, we'd get the Batfleck. Fascinating. It's also crazy we're well over an hour in and we still don't have Robin in the suit. The Robin suit, by the way, 41 pounds. Crazy. Michael says, I mean, aging Robin up a good bit certainly helps some of the more problematic aspects of the relationship between Bruce and Dick. Certainly, and the whole Ward concept and everything else, but like a 25-year-old man, it's definitely a different relationship. I see how it solves problems, but it causes others, as far as like the father-son relationship dynamic. But I definitely, there's less creepiness, certainly. Coy, if given the choice, would you rather watch a movie on a 65-inch OLED or 120-inch 4K? I would go OLED. The blacks are blacker, even twice the size. I would go OLED. But I prefer a movie theater over all else. So if you're going to project, I want feet, not inches. 10 feet is great, but I like OLED screens personally. Debbie Macer as Spice is fantastic. That outfit's insane. The fucking little hippie things. Hello. Also, a very big quote from the 90s for us comic book kids. First in suit Batman kiss, I do believe, because I think Keaton takes off the mask to kiss in Returns. I think, if I remember correctly, that's a fun fact, is that's the first in suit Bat kiss. But I could be wrong. Michael, this is very funny. Ice Cube asked for the director's cut of this film to be released on HBO Max. He posted a Twitter campaign stating hashtag release the Schumacher cut. The people want the Batman Forever director's cut released. That's it. Just release the director's cut. Release the Schumacher cut. People want more Val Kilmer. Ice Cube. He's on our side. We got the cube. Just to catch him in a tube is so ridiculous. More cool 2K color correction there, and a great use of the cape and cowl, which has been used in the comics that way. I mean, also, yeah, not putting a child into mortal peril is probably better. Oh shit, new suits are coming, so much destruction. Spidey, what's up? Robin moment. He's born. What's up, buddy? Hi. Nightwing! We got Metropolis and Nightwing in this movie. I forgot we got Nightwing. Also, that hand grab is straight from the comics. Batman 442. Hold on. Yeah, Batman 442, he rescued Batman and Nightwing from under a pile of rubble with that hand grab. And then a Nightwing reference. Very needy cat. Batman. I'm reaching the end of my fun facts I know as well as the internet knows. But I hope for this last hour and a half you've learned some things, internet. More in Mask Bat Kisses. Ooh. But then that way the kiss in the mask will be a moment later when the kiss without the mask, and then she's like, oh, I recognize that mouth. Oh, that face. The bat smile, Spidey Cat, did you see it? Did you see the bat smile? Bat smirk, Spidey Cat? Spidey thinks it's always dinner time. And this was part of the larger subplot featuring a full-size bat, lots of psyche and trauma and fear, and that came from Tim Burton's third script, which was going to have Scarecrow. So it's interesting what pieces they... That must have been very hard for Tommy Lee Jones, who hated Jim Carrey oh so much. Great outfit. It's interesting how far ahead Warner Brothers and the Bat stuff was from everything else. Like in the 90s, the Bat was the show. Like, the movies and everything else. But it's like now with all the HBO Max trending lower in numbers, HBO Max, having all the day and date theatrical releases and still struggling to keep up with Netflix and Disney Plus. It's really interesting. Even like comparatively, like first month numbers, second month numbers. It's going to be really interesting what the DC universe reshapes themselves into after such a storied history. This is always so cool to see the gallery of Bat awesome. Robin's fight again. No. Such a perfect Alfred. We've been very lucky with great Alfreds. Do you see the rose behind her? Is she about to be kissed from a rose? Rose. There's the trauma, which they do dabble in this third act a little. Spidey just needed snuggles. He's fine now. Less yelling. Perfect. He's such a good Batman. Val Kilmer's actually a better Batman than I remembered. See, this to me feels more Schumacher-y, the operatic, bold, the swirling, the lighting. Like, this is all way more Schumacher-y. And there's images of the full giant bat Val Kilmer stuff. Like there's deleted scenes. There's a whole other hour of this movie, and then some of that's out there. I do. It's true. Theater voices. Right? It's very Lost Boys, very fan of the opera. Oh, now she's gonna go through a noggin. See, Batman uses the apostrophe. Iron Man uses the full sentence. You got I'm Batman versus I am Iron Man, and that's the difference between those billionaires. I'm Batman. Come on, Alfred, you're better than that. Here is the importance of the spinning cane that Video Drew came in to talk about. Essential. Another oft-quoted 90s comic book kid line. So this was controversial. This sequence, there's 3 flips, and people in the comics understandably are upset because he flips once, and that's, you don't repeat the flipping to determine when it's his excitement. You get 1 flip to discern if they live or die. Like Two-Face has a very strong code. People thought him flipping a bunch of times here was breaking that code, but it's actually theoretically 3 members of the house, the Robin, Alfred, Batman, like whether or not he makes that choice. So the 3 coin flips could be comic accurate. Oh, sorry, not Robin. He's not there right now. Nicole Kidman, Alfred, Batman. Full Looney Tunes sound effects. Went for it. Beautiful car. So he gets to kill 1. this and Heat at the same time. The bullet wound is on the wrong side. That's very funny. Come on, guys. I'm gonna close my window so you guys can hear me and not my neighbors. No, sir. Probably my favorite Riddler outfit in the entirety of the film is this madness. Like, I'd wear that. That's a jacket I'd wear. Also, that imagery was so great for toy sales and was everywhere in the 90s. Detective work done here, arguably more than he's done in most films. Batman does not get to detect much, and he gets to be an inquisitive in this one. Inquisitive man, Batman, great detective. I would wear the fuck out of that jacket to Burning Man, correct. If I could get my hands on a jacket like that, that'd be an every night jacket. Oh, man, I want that now. A smoking jacket with blinking question marks is my exact shit. Mr. E? New bat suit. Oh, nipples are gone. What are we gonna do? Bat butt though, cause Schumacher. Big old bat butt close-up man. Toys, 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 toys. I love that it's hanging upside down though. I love the bat being the bat. Oh shit, I like a little cowl cape. So his suit is 41 pounds, Robin's, and Batman's is like 60. Those are some heavy plastics overall. And there's over 100 of each suit for all the fighting and stuff, like all the different variations and chaos. They're rotting at this point, but I think you can still see them. This Batsuit is actually what Christian Bale auditioned in, was Val Kilmer's. And just after getting shot in the head, he proceeds to solve a mystery. Michael also says, I had this toy that could convert between the Batmobile, Batplane, and Batboat. Yes, yes, yes. Man, toys were great back in our day. I mean, the science of toys now is insane. Have you seen that Optimus Prime thing? It's nuts, but I definitely have a soft spot for this era. memes. Very few toys today rival 90s toys, but that Optimus Prime might. The Optimus Prime that actually transforms and has that perfect voice is hard to top. Love this sequence. There's literally like action play sets of this entire set. I think the Batboat got roughly 50 seconds of screen time to sell all those toys. Bat scuba gear. Riddler scuba drones. Old school CGI. It's a very quick shot, but very early CGI of this caliber. Looks a little rough, but holds up all right. Yeah, dude. Everyone look up that Optimus Prime toy. Change your life. Sorry, Spidey, I had to sneeze. Not much to come. Holy Rusted Metal Batman. We got our first Burt Ward, Adam West reference. Calm down. Not much to say here, except the production design is incredible, and kudos to the production designer for finding that many uses of question marks. That is a pretty great suit, though. You gotta admit, that Robin suit's badass. And I definitely see the Greek statues like Schumacher was going for. You know, it could use some more spikes. I don't feel the danger enough. Bat rocket boosters. Spidey, why would that thing have spikes? I don't know. When did he have time to build this? Who did he hire to design it? When did this all happen? Originally, there was this. He was in a giant muscle suit, and then it broke open, and then he crawled out in this. And that's actually in the novelization and some of the previs. But he was in this giant muscle, like, animatronic, which mirrors the earlier Greek, him putting his face over the god thing. Quite the ego. Question mark visor is ridiculous. Can you imagine acting in something like this? Like these costumes, this chaos? At least a year. Like, what is that set? Agreed. Even just a Riddler diving into the psyche of Batman would be great, which is what I think the Batman is, but I love the things they touch on. Back to the spike. Yeah, whatever their contractor work is, like they do efficient, effective work, great branding, great lighting, top-notch villainy in Gotham. I mean, that is good for the economy, that kind of day labor. Super villain day labor, Spidey Cat. There are characters like that, like people that build those things, and there's also like the tinkerer that makes the toys, but like there are, I think, characters, I think you're right, that are like infrastructure. Playing with the ego, playing with his god complex, buying some time, Spidey Cat. Yeah. There's also a lot less like physical fighting in this. Like Robin fights Two-Face, but there's no like punchy fighting, and that's unique to the genre. Like there's a lot more of like weird psychological stuff. Some of the dialogue's rough, but I like that about it. Because you don't punch the Riddler, it doesn't do much. He's very punchable. No, 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 Batman. And then repaying the favor with the catch and the pull up and tying it all back to the Flying Graysons. He saves what he couldn't before. Symmetry. Right before all those spikes by the cat. Fascinated to like touch those suits because it's like a mix of like styrofoam and plastic, and the way they move and contort. Fascinating. Yes, he was a good friend when you were played by Billy D. Williams, and the continuity just messy. Great though, I love that move. The coins. And I guess Batman kills here. You know, not maliciously, intentionally, but the man is dead now because of an action Batman made. I never noticed the R on the thing. He's got an R like branding between his. No shit, never noticed that. All the times I've seen this movie. Rick Baker prosthetics are always awesome. And look at this. Lesson learned. The first on-screen live-action appearance of Arkham Asylum. As it was doing very well in the animated series, this is our first live-action Arkham. And it looks fucked. I love this Arkham design. Not love the wig, but the character's name is Dr. Burton, so they gave him a Tim Burton wig. Yeah, I think the Batsuit was bulletproof in an earlier film, Michael. I totally agree. I don't know if it is here, but I imagine if it was then. Also, the scenes they cut with like Bruce with his arms outstretched like a bat and stuff mirror this ending in a really beautiful way, but it's already a 2-hour movie, so hard to have everything in there. Yeah, no, that's effectively the animated Arkham come to life. This is a fun parallel to our Batman Mask of the Phantasm watch-along, which we did, which you can check out also on this page, and our Batman Returns, which we did also on this page. And maybe we'll do Batman and Robin next, or soon, because this has been fun. I'm really curious back-to-back what those feel like. His hair has changed. Now he's more ready for relationship Bruce Wayne hair. Also, the duality of Two-Face, duality of Batman, fun stuff to touch on. Would like to see it explored further. They obviously did in Dark Knight, but I'd like to see it explored further. Batman's Rogues Gallery is arguably the best. We did skip Batman 89, but I feel like everyone's seen that one a lot more. We're going with the weird ones. But we could do that one, because I haven't seen that one in a long time. Jack Nicholson's Joker. I have not experienced the Prince goodness in quite some time. Those two are definitely on the docket. Batman and Robin. The next movie is Batman and Robin. That's how it ends. Boom. We did it. We watched Batman Forever together, and now we get to be blessed with the kiss from Rose after some U2. Got to vibe out with all the 90s hits. What a cast. What a movie. What a fun time. I think it's better than people think. Assistant Jon Favreau. You know, even back then, he was involved in the comic book madness. I don't think that was the Jon Favreau, but I could be totally wrong. I did not notice Jon Favreau. That was fun, man. Michael McCarstle, I appreciate this journey. I'm glad we decided on this one. This was a fun time. Patrons, thank you. Viewers, thank you. People that don't know me and just stumbled across this, thank you. Welcome. This was sponsored by Michael McCarstle, who's my patron saint of Watchalongs, and we picked this one because we had a great time with Batman Forever. That was I threw out way too much trivia at the top, and then the last act I just wanted to watch, so apologies for that last gap. I used to reenact that shit constantly. Same, with the light behind you, just the slow-mo. 90s kids, man. We had a certain flavor. We definitely knew what we liked, the flavor of pop culture at the time. Like, that was our world. Yeah, this was fun. Internet, if you enjoyed this, leave a comment. Thank Michael McCarstle. That's the actual Jon Favreau? Okay, I gotta see Jon Favreau, Batman Forever, what he looked like, because I did not even see him. Batman Forever. No way. That's insane. In the background of the scene is the Jon Favreau in like one scene. So this dude's been shaping comic book glory since '95, and then now literally gave us the Marvel Universe. What a titan. I love Jon Favreau. That's incredible. That's insane. And Spidey Cat is snoozing away. He just needed attention. He ran around for a while. I wasn't giving him attention. Now he's passed out. Handsome boy. All right, Internet, that is going to do it for this experience of Batman Forever. Thanks to Michael McCarstle. Thanks to viewers like you. I'm going to talk to Michael about doing Batman and Robin next, or Batman 89 next. I'm liking this Bat vibe. We'll be talking about what we're doing next. I'll keep you guys posted. I'm blown away that Jon Favreau's in this movie. I'm so glad there was a twist at the end for me. Saw the credits, now there's a twist. That's how we're going to end the stream, with the glory of Jon Favreau. Thanks to Spidey Cat. Thanks to Michael. Thanks to you guys. I will see you next month for another watch along. I'll keep you all posted. And tune in Tuesdays for Coy Cubed. Tune in on Thursdays for these kind of reviews. Once a month, I'd either do watch along or the reviews. I don't know what I'm doing for reviews yet in May, but I'll keep you all informed. And check out the Coycast dropping every Wednesday for your audio ear listening of news and stuff. So you can find me all over the internet. Lots of Schmo Down stuff coming. Yeah, that's going to do it. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks again, Michael. Bye. There's the song.